Hey guys, Gore here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the medic kit in squad and how you can employ this kit to the best of its abilities. A good medic is the cornerstone of any successful squad, allowing your fellow teammates to get back in the fight and stay in it. If you enjoy the guide, leave it a like and subscribe for more future squad content. And if you're watching this video within a few hours of release, I'm live streaming squad over on Twitch right now. Come on by for a bit or just to say hello. Now, let's get into things. To start, let's take a quick look at the medic kit, as each faction has two different loadouts for their medics. The first medic kit either lacks an optic or is equipped with only a red dot or a red dot equivalent, but is given a fragmentation grenade. The second medic kit is equipped with a standard magnified optic of their respective faction, but lacks a fragmentation grenade. The difference in equipment is minimal, but the way the two different medic kits are played is a lot more stark, which we'll get into later in the video. With the release of V2.7, we saw the reintroduction of Dead back into squad, which has shaken things up a bit when it comes to playing the medic role. Now, after being revived, players in a recovery state, where if they are incapacitated again, they will be sent back to the spawn screen. The way players leave the recovery state is by either waiting out the 60-second timer or receive healing from a medic. The recovery state is shortened based off the percentage of health you have, with being healed to full health ending the recovery state altogether. Players also have a screen effect while in this state that makes it more difficult to see. So the idea as a medic is to get players out of this state as quickly as possible to avoid them being incapacitated again and sent back to the spawn screen. This is where some decision making comes in, because as the medic you need to recognize the situations where you think the likelihood of players going down quickly after revive is high. If you deem it to be a high risk situation, revive a player and then heal them fully to get them out of the recovery state. Usually, I would recommend reviving multiple if you have more than one casualty to get guns in the fight, but if an explosive hits near you and 3 people are still in the recovery state, they're all headed back to the spawn screen. In the past, most medics would heal everyone else before themselves, but now you run the risk of being sent back to the spawn screen and leaving your squad without a medic, so you need to be a little more selfish. Heal yourself back to full and end the recovery state, and then work on getting teammates revived and healed. Moving on, let's look at situations where you do have multiple down friendlies nearby, but the threat of being downed immediately after revive is low. In these instances, you want to alternate revives with healing. You pick someone up, give them a second or two of healing before you move on to bandage the next player. The reason you do this is when healed for any amount of time after being revived, players will start regaining stamina. Having stamina will allow them to steady their aim, which will make them infinitely more useful in a firefight. Once each player has been given a touch of healing, go back through and heal everyone to full. Something many players fail to realize when attempting to revive a friendly is that they are down for a reason. They didn't magically fall over while running. Either a player, vehicle, or emplacement downed them, and chances are they are still in an area or in a position to see anyone who might go to revive the downed infantry. Before trying to bandage a friendly, ensure the area is clear of enemy threats. The last thing you want to do is add on to a pile of bodies because you are too impatient to check over a hill or around a corner to see if the threat was still nearby. There are a couple steps to this process depending on the information you have. If you were nearby when your teammate was downed and you know where they were shot from, you can engage and eliminate the enemy or direct friendlies on target. If you're coming up on someone who's been down for some time, the first thing you want to do is ask them where they were shot from. If they can communicate that to you, sweep the immediate area and eliminate the enemy or enemies to ensure you won't take a round the second you start to bandage. If they can't give you any information, take the time to do a wider sweep before returning to revive your teammate. Now, there are some circumstances where things won't be clear-cut and simple, and you need to make a decision. First, you have the predicament of, is it worth risking myself to get another gun in the fight? In a situation where you're attacking an enemy hab and having someone else alive will greatly improve your odds of taking the spawn point down, go for the revive. Now, the main argument I hear against this line of thought of clearing before reviving is, if I die looking for the enemy, then we're both SOL. To this I say, you're better off dying at full capacity while trying to eliminate the enemy than running the risk of being a free kill. You may sometimes also trade kills with the nearby foe, in which you can alert the next approaching teammate that the area is clear. This discussion leads directly into our next point, which is part of being a good medic is knowing when someone is in too much of an exposed position to justify risking yourself to revive them. I see far too many medics nowadays with tunnel vision on getting friendlies revived, which is great in theory, but the second they drop on the player, they themselves get hit. The biggest thing in these situations is patience from both the medic and the down player. The down player needs to have the patience to wait out their timer, knowing their team is doing what they can to get them back in the fight. The medic needs to have the patience to focus on securing the area first with their teammates before doubling back to revive a player in an exposed position. Something that can take a player in an exposed position and get them into a safer one is body dragging. To drag a player's body, you need to be crouched and then press F while looking at either their lower leg or foot or their neck. The body dragging can be a bit finicky at times, so just keep pressing F until you grab something. Dragging a player still puts you in somewhat of a compromised position, but the big difference being that while dragging, you still have your weapon up. So if an enemy emerges in front of you, you can immediately begin firing or ADS and eliminate the threat. You don't want to drag a body for too long. Get them down from the top of a hill or into the nearest piece of cover off the street and then revive them. Half of being a medic is healing players once you or someone else revives them. There are a few things to stay proactive about when healing players that will help ensure your and their survival. For one, do not let players stare at you when you're healing them. You are not the threat. They need to be providing outward security so an enemy doesn't stroll up and catch you with your pants down. At other times, you'll be surrounded by multiple players that all need to be healed. The first thing you want to do, especially if these players start to surround you, is tell them to gain some dispersion. This way, one well-placed grenade doesn't take out a handful of players. Next, you want to give at least a quick touch with your medic bag to each player. Like we've talked about previously, this will allow the player to start regaining stamina, which will then allow them to steady their aim and thus be more effective in a fight. Once everyone has been given a quick touch-up, you can either start healing whomever to full health, or you can heal based on priority. Healing an AT kit to full may bode better for you and your team than healing the marksman first. Something you'll run across often while playing the medic role is non-medics reviving down friendlies. In essence, this is great to see, save one thing. For a non-medic to revive a down teammate, it takes 17 seconds to perform that revive. For medics, this time is cut down to just 7 seconds. That extra 10 seconds where they have their weapon put away can spell further harm coming to them and their teammates. Tell these teammates to continue securing the area while you attend to the down. Your incapacitated friendlies may take longer to get back into the fight, but once they are revived, they'll be in a much safer position where they won't likely go down again immediately. One thing I want to briefly touch on is positioning while healing friendlies. As a general rule of thumb, you want to be somewhere that if the individual needs to fire, you are not in the way. There are two situations that come to mind when I've seen medics healing from the wrong positions. Firstly, we have medics that want to crawl on top of you while they heal. Medics can heal by left-clicking anywhere on a player, so if said player is trying to engage targets while you heal them, the last thing they need is a medic's hand clipping through the front of their face, obscuring their view. The second situation is when threats are still in the area and the medic heals from a standing position. A target will come around the corner and the teammate will be unable to fire or will shoot you in the process. If there is any possibilities of enemies nearby, get low. Make yourself a smaller target to hit and get out of the way of potential friendly fire. When playing the medic kit up to this point, you've likely had players coming up to you or chasing you down to get healed. While yes, this is your job, make sure other players aren't jeopardizing your safety just so they can get healed. You have to be smart about when and where you heal teammates. I've had players try to get me to heal them in wide open areas, or they insist on me following them while healing so they can keep progressing. If you feel like doing so is going to put yourself in a bad spot where you might get hit, don't do it. Communicate to your teammates where you want them so you can both be in a safe position while healing. As we spoke about in the beginning of the video, there are two different medic kits that each have their own unique playstyles. The medic kit that does not possess a magnified optic should always be in the rear element. This kit is not well equipped to engage enemies at medium to long range, so position yourself where you won't be the first person to come under fire. Your job is to keep players in the fight and at full health. Take your rifle out when you need it, but the rest of your squad is better equipped, so they are your first priority. The other medic kit is your force multiplier. It's equipped with a magnified optic, which makes the kit infinitely better suited to engage infantry. In my opinion, this kit should always be taken by a decently skilled player. The reason behind this line of thinking is if everyone is down and it's only him left, you want this player to have the best tools available to neutralize one or more threats and then start reviving friendlies. When using this kit, you can be located further towards the front of your lines to aid your teammates in downing enemies and keeping your forward element up and in the fight. I think most players in squad can agree upon the fact that medics are one, if not the most important kit in the game. As a medic, you should never put yourself in situations where you take unnecessary risks. When players start going down from enemy fire, the last person you want alive is your medic. There are ways to minimize risk. For one, don't be the spearhead of any attack. Allow the rifleman and fire support roles to go charging in so that if they go down, you're still around to get them back up. Your priority as a medic should never be kills, nor should it be to achieve any number of stats whatsoever, including revives. Chasing stats will 9 times out of 10 screw you in the long run. Your focus should be on maintaining the integrity of your squad. A player goes down in a safe area like right behind a wall. Revive them. A vehicle is tearing apart your squad. Keep your AT and riflemen alive and kicking so they can neutralize the Vic. You've got a load of teammates down near a spawn point from infantry camping your hab. Urge your teammates to push off the X and into positions where they can be effective. Eliminate the threats first and then focus on going back to pick people up. To round out the video, I have a couple closing tips. The first is bandage players even when they aren't incapacitated. Tell them to save their bandage and get them patched up. The reason you do this is because if you go down as the medic and your squad mates have used their bandages on themselves, they'll have nothing left for you. Lastly, by design or not, you can bandage and heal players on the other side of walls and hard surfaces. So if there's a player downed close to a wall, you can try to get them through the wall and keep yourself in a safe position. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. I hope everyone was able to learn something new from this video and is on their way to becoming a better medic. If you enjoyed the video, leave it a like and subscribe for more future squad content. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm out.